This is Larry Jordan, the host of the Digital Production Buzz. The following interview is an excerpt from a recent program. To hear the entire program, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. Kevin Bourke, the founder and principal of BourkePR, has nearly 30 years' experience in technology public relations. He's a marketing consultant to some of the most innovative tech companies in the visual effects, post-production, and production technology markets. Hello, Kevin. It's good to have you back.
Larry, it's great to see you.
Hi, Kevin. Kevin's in the corner. He looks like he's in the corner. He's been put in the corner. Kevin, you should not be in the corner.
You know, only Michael would notice that Kevin is in the corner.
He is in the corner.
I was admiring the fact that he was wearing a clean shirt. I thought this was a good start, too.
Well, you know, it's for you, Larry.
Kevin, I want to spend time talking about marketing and PR and advertising. But to start, how would you describe what you do?
Well, I'm a public relations consultant primarily. You know, for like you mentioned, nearly 30 years of my career. Sorry?
I'm with you, Kevin. Go ahead.
Okay. Has really been focused on the public relations piece of the business.
Your work, Kevin, falls into the broad area of marketing, but it seems that you see a difference between marketing and PR and advertising. How do you differentiate between the three terms?
Sure, but you know, I like to use actually a very simple analogy. You know, I view marketing and advertising is similar to you telling the world how great your company is. Mm-hmm. That's marketing and advertising. Public relations is you convincing the influencers of the industry, the influencers who your customers listen to and trust. You convincing them to tell the audiences how great your company is. So it's that third-party credibility, that voice that your customers are listening to. They're the ones talking about how great you are, and it's not just yourself.
How do you get those influencers to do that, though, if the product is not something that they might not want to influence?
That was well said. What does that mean in English?
No, I mean, seriously. I mean, sometimes you are dealing with a particular product that is just started out. There is some problems with it, and sure, you are trying to get those influencers to say nice things about it.
Sure, and I think that's the value in having a good consultant at the outset, because you know a valuable PR or marketing consultant is going to sit down with you at the outset and take a hard look and understand your business and understand your product, understand the upsides and the downsides of your product, so that you can then figure out the best way to position that product, to whom you should be positioning that product, and how you position that product, so that you're not just out there blindly, you know, just trying to convince somebody to buy something that they don't want. But if you can determine up front and understand up front what is valuable about those products, then you can find the right influencers to help you tell that story.
I've always thought of advertising as trying to generate immediate response and marketing trying to generate long-term response. Is that still a true statement?
Yes and no. You know, I think advertising certainly it's expensive to do it long term. I mean, ads cost money to create; they cost money to place, and for them to be truly effective, you need to do that over a long period of time in order for them to generate the kind of awareness and visibility that you need. You know, it's not too different from, it's actually similar to public relations, but the difference is with public relations, you're not paying for every placement, you're not paying for every article that hits. You know, really, it's your investment in time to ensure that there is a constant and consistent communications flow through these different channels, through publications, through blogs, through social media. So, you know, it's a very different approach, and from a budgeting standpoint, it's a very different spend.
One of the things I've enjoyed, because we've worked together in various ways over the years, is sitting and chatting with you at long time when I'm not on camera and we have time to visit for more than just a couple of minutes. And you've told me that good marketing takes time, that it can't just be done overnight. Well, how does a client tell the difference between good marketing and bad marketing if you don't know the results for 6 months?
Well, yeah, at the outset, again, and as part of the planning process, you need to put some sort of measurements and stopping points in place so that you can say, let's set some short-term objectives, for public relations, for example. In 3 months, we've agreed that there are this group of influencers that today they don't know about us at all. In 3 months, we need to make sure that they do know us to start. And that's easily measured. And then 3 months after that, we want them not only to know us, but we want them to be talking about us and talking about us in a very positive light. That's measurable. You can set those goals at the outset instead of just sort of throwing it out into the wind and saying, come back in 6 months when you think you have something for us. You need to kind of set those metrics along the way and make sure that they are reasonable, that they're achievable, and that they map back to not only your communications objectives, but your business objectives as well.
You've got a vested interest in this answer, but when should marketing be done in-house, and when should you hire a consultant?
Well, it really depends. There are very specific skill sets, especially with public relations. There are skill sets. There are existing relationships. For me, for example, I have relationships like with you. You and I have known each other for 15 years. I carry with me these relationships that I have fostered over many, many years, and I can leverage those on behalf of my clients. Now, if you're in-house, and you don't have that, well, it's very difficult to start from scratch and say, okay, now I have to, who do I meet? Who do I talk to? And start to build those relationships. Sometimes people do have that. And if you do, fantastic. Then, yeah, you can strike out on your own. But if you don't, it's helpful to find that resource that understands your business, understands technology, has the relationships and the connections that they can leverage on your behalf. That's when you can really benefit from hiring a consultant.
Kevin, have you ever turned down a client and say,
Sure.
This just isn't working, or this just isn't something that I believe in, and I'm not the right guy for you?
Absolutely. There are obvious times to turn down business when there's a conflict of interest. I have a client that competes with you. I'm sorry, I can't help you. That's an obvious one. But there certainly have been times where I would look at the organization, I would look at the products, I would look at the state of the business, and I honestly tell them that, either in your current situation, either you can't afford to, or, what you need to do today is not this. You need to focus on something else for the health of your business. So it's a case-by-case basis, but I do take an honest look at each and every company that approaches me, and if I believe I can help them, then I bring them on.
Kevin, let's wear a filmmaker's hat, and let's say a filmmaker comes to you and says, I'd like your help in putting a campaign together for my next project. Clearly short-term. How long does it take to build a marketing campaign for a film? And we're talking indie. We're not talking a $200 million studio picture.
I would say, because I've done this recently, anywhere from 3 to 6 months. 3 months is a tight window because you kind of you need to ramp up. You need to do some basic housekeeping, prepare the language. How do you talk about this film? How do you, what are the words that you use to get people excited? Who are we going to reach out? So you need to kind of build up that plan and then start building the excitement in advance of the release, because you can't start talking about it the day of the release. You need to build up excitement in advance of that release. So you want to build in enough time to do it. I've done it successfully in 3 months, but 3 to 6 months is probably a smart time frame.
Where does social media fit into a marketing plan? Is social media everything, or 50%, or you just sort of stick your toe in the water?
Social media it's never the silver bullet. I do believe it's very powerful. I also believe it's very powerful in our market segment, in production and post-production. We have a very active Twitter community, for example. I think it's one of the things that you need to do, but I also believe that you need to be smart about it. You need to be genuine. You need to understand how to interact with the community in social media. It's not just a broadcast mechanism where you spout your messages and don't engage with your audience. You need to really understand who you're talking to and who you're engaging with. But it's definitely a very powerful way to connect with your potential customers and audiences.
Kevin, for people that want more information about you and the work that you do, where can they go on the web?
You can find me at BourkePR.com or follow me on Twitter.
And that's BourkePR, BourkePR.com. And the founder and principal for Bourke is Kevin Bourke himself. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. We're looking forward to seeing you again, and we're getting ready for all the trade shows next year. You take care.
Thanks, Kevin.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Me too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
If you'd like to see more videos like this one, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. To stay connected and receive updates from The Buzz, sign up for our free weekly newsletter now. Or you can learn more about us on our website. And thanks for watching The Digital Production Buzz.